Hi, everyone. I'm Larry Deeds, and I'd like to share with you what you missed by not going to the February dinner demo with Kevin Gleason that was presented by the Westlake Village Art Guild. He's represented by our friends at the Waterhouse Gallery in Santa Barbara, and he spent most of his adult life teaching art, design, and color to high school students. And let me tell you, I learned some things as well. So what I'm going to show you is the 4 things that I learned.
But what I wanted to mention is, if you go in the gallery and you look at the paintings, and they're all beautiful paintings in there, but Kevin's painting really pops out, and it really took me when I went in there and looked at it. It was bright, it was colorful, not just well lit, but just the way he painted. And so I was very pleased when after I realized, hey, this is the best artist that I think we're going to have maybe this year.
About design, when I teach my students, that's a big part of the first part of the making a painting is just making sure the shapes, I remind them that a painting's just a collection of shapes of colors put together. No matter what style of painting is, that's all a painting is shape and color. And so I sort of want to decide, first of all, what the most important thing is to me in the image, and kind of what I want to accentuate, like what my purpose is for painting.
Unlike many of our demo artists, Kevin started with a canvas that only had a simple orange ground on it instead of a full-blown sketch that he had started already prior. I was pretty impressed by that. Second, he was regularly changing and refining his composition as he was sketching, honing in on the focal point and the center of interest to make certain that the viewer's eyes would go where he wanted them to go. As he said, playing with the shapes to make the design strong. The third thing is that Kevin mixed all of his main colors on his palette before he started to paint any of those colors, making certain that the color of his center of interest was as dominant as he wanted it, and that the other colors complemented that center of interest and its color. And the fourth thing was, even so, he still changed his mind numerous times as the piece progressed, even going as far as scraping off the color and starting over again in certain areas. Now, I got to tell you personally, as a watercolorist myself, and I work primarily in ink and watercolor, I find it fascinating to be able to change one's mind midway through the work and take a whole new direction. For me, and for most watercolorists, the design has to be worked out before a single stroke of a brush or an ink line is laid in. As we don't paint white, we preserve the white of the paper. And so we have to know exactly where we're going to do that prior to even beginning. So let's watch, and let's also listen to what Kevin has to say.
Change some of these angles. This is looking a little too much like a perfect V to me, so I'm going to actually make this just a little bit steeper. So for design, people's eyes can really pick up on those things really easily. We as designers want to, this little dip right here is right almost in the center of the canvas. And so I did a lot of work before I start putting down any color or anything, just playing with the shapes and moving things around to make the design strong. This is kind of an uncomfortable tangent, they call it, where the top of this oak tree meets the top of the mountain. So I'm going to instead, I want to show that overlapping, I'm going to raise as that shadow color moves into the distance, I'm going to add some blue skylight reflecting into this eventually. But I want to take this shadow color and it's going to, as it disappears and gets further away from us, it's going to have more atmosphere and start to blue. And so I'm adding some of my bluer tone to this and using that to catch some of these shadow shapes that I can see. So I'm just blocking in big shapes right now, and I'll come back and do detail later. But just having the big shapes there will get the sense of the whole painting, and that's the most important thing. Like once I have that, I can go back and fuss around with the little stuff. It's done.